Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, they're all meeting at is it Davos or
I
Davos?
think it's Davos.
Because
It's
Davos kind of
European.
sounds like Dave, can you fix my chassis?
Yeah, no, this is like Europeans, so it'd be like Davos, darling.
Davos, excuse me.
Davos, darling. We're at Davos, darling.
hmm And so every single time now I've noticed like Ezra Levant is on board.
Who's that?
He's the guy from the Blaze. He's a little dude from that country from 1948 that runs the Blaze.
Oh, and what is the Blaze?
Blaze is like it had Candace and it had Charlie Kirk for a while and it had Ben Shapiro and
Yeah.
it's like their media network that
Oh,
they were all kind of grew up on.
oh, okay.
So it'd be like NWA and then yeah, and then all the rappers went and had their own like careers. So he owns like NWA. But now all the rappers have left and it's just him.
Oh my God.
And so he goes to Davos. That's his shtick. And that's when he gets to be famous for a minute. Now I'm starting to think it's all rigged.
Well, you kind of mentioned that the other day, and I said, Firefly, I think you're right.
So like when he goes up to Larry Fink and he goes, "Excuse me, Larry Fink, are you still trying to drive behavior with financial instruments?" And Larry Fink goes, yes, I'm definitely
Well,
doing that.
wasn't Larry Fink like trying to get away from it? He was like, they always act like put on this show like, I don't want to interview you. Who are you? Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
talk to you. Like he's like trying to like get him to answer questions like on the street and with whoever it is, Larry Fink, or it
And
could
they
be
always have like an entourage and like
they're
bodyguards and stuff.
yeah, and they're trying to like push him away and stuff. And you were like, could it be staged? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, because I started thinking about it. You know how when they go to all these things like the WEF
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Davos and everything, um, they're they always seem to like we always seem to get these leaked out little videos.
Yes.
Like they show up on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and it's always like the elites, and they're like on stage, like during one of their like meetings at Davos, and they're talking about some top secret kind of plan that they have for us. But somehow we always seem to be privy to these little videos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Almost like they want to act like guerrilla journalists went in there and at the danger of their lives
Yep.
reported this. It was like remember in Return of the Jedi, it's like uh many Femins died to bring us this information.
Yeah,
That's kind of like the vein of it. They
I
want
know.
us to think that anything that gets leaked from these secret meetings is, you're fortunate to see
You're
it.
lucky you saw this tidbit. Like it's like you get a little tidbit, and it's kind of like they were filming it for their own you know whatever, and then we somehow got a hold of the tape or something, or you've got like spies in there, but somehow we get tidbits of these meetings, and I started thinking, who's filming these videos? And how are the videos getting out there? And I thought, you know what? I think the videos that are out there are meant for us to see.
Totally.
You know what I
Peyton
mean?
releases them on purpose. Remember, so we interviewed Peter Thiel when he was at Bilderberg.
Yeah.
So Bilderberg was like in the summer,
Uh-huh.
and so now they're doing Davos.
That's their winter hangout.
That's their winter one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, remember I used to work for that big copier company,
Yeah.
and we would have our annual meeting, but I think we had a meeting in the summertime too. And it's
Mm-hmm.
when they just kind of touch base and they kind of go over the numbers and then they kind of talk about the game plan going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they do. I think Bilderberg and Davos are their two meetings, and I think they have World Economic Forum too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same cast and crew all the time, but there's different messaging that they release to the media with each of these events.
Oh yeah,
And the messaging that they release to the media is all very specific and it's what they want us to hear.
exactly. I think that no videos of those events that all the elites go to that nobody else is allowed to go to, none of those get out that they don't want us to see.
Totally.
So
They're
you,
talking about like if they're talking about stuff that's where the rubber meets the road of how they're bringing the digital prison about, they're not going to let people come out and talk about that.
so you know what? I kind of had like, I don't know if this is an epiphany, but it's a question I had that's maybe epiphany based.
Hmm.
Um, so that makes me wonder if we see those things, what's really hidden? What is happening that we don't see?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's happening behind the closed door, behind under,
You
the
know where you
rabbit
can really
holes?
see that is so Jared Kushner did his speech there
Hmm.
at
And
Davos.
he was like flashing all kinds of gang signs. I mean, Freemason signs.
They are gang signs.
Yeah,
He was showing that he's in the
he's in
Crips.
the gang.
Yes. So he was flashing his signs, which is weird. He's like a weird gangster.
That's so weird that they do that.
He's a tall, lanky Jewish gangster.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's kind of like Meyer Lansky. Anyways, so he's there doing his speech, and in the speech, he's going, "Come on now, we need to get along. I know that Israel just basically exterminated a bunch of people in Gaza. I know that, and we just basically blew up hospitals and schools with kids in them and stuff. And but let's move along.
We're gonna make a resort.
We're making a big resort there. It's going to be so good for the people. Now you have a choice, and this is kind of how I couched it. You have a choice. You can either get on board for the people of Gaza, or you can continue to be a creator of strife. No, come on now. We need peace.
Wow. So it's either you're on board with this or you're creating a problem.
You're the problem.
Wow.
You understand? You got to get on. It's for the people.
Uh-huh.
That's the way he captures it. It's for the people. So I think behind closed doors, he got told exactly the tenor. Because I was thinking about it while I was listening. He got told, okay, Jared, you are the Antichrist. And so here is your speech for Davos. None of it is sincere. He's been told to go out there and couch it like this. What happened behind closed doors is they said, okay, how many Gazans have we killed? How much more time until we can exterminate that whole area and we can take over? That was they don't let those conversations leak.
Right.
They're not going to leak out how many people have been killed,
Yeah.
but they know that and they talk about that.
Yeah.
And they know how long it's going to take and what the end game is. They don't want to tell people the end game of clearing the way for Trump Gaza. That means probably killing lots of kids and moms and like young people. Did you know like I think it's like 70% of people that live in Gaza are 25 and under?
Yeah.
So you're
A
gonna go
lot of
kill a bunch of young people. That's what they're gonna do. But see, they're not gonna release that from Davos. They're gonna keep that behind closed doors.
So actually, they're kind of being controlled opposition.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
They come out because that controlled opposition is not just me blowing smoke up your ass.
Hmm.
It's real. Controlled opposition is what they said is the main thing in order to take over the country. And
So
now they're taking over the world.
now, so those are the tidbits that we get to hear, but I'm wondering if there's like completely other plans that they're working on that we have no idea about,
Oh, totally.
that are like scheduled to happen, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road.
Totally.
You know.
Totally. Now, I am of the belief that they do have to reveal the method. There is some kind of spiritual ordinance that they have to follow.
Do you think it's because they need to do that so that if they show us what's happening, but we're all too stupid to stop it, then that's us just going along with it, and
Yep.
it releases them from guilt? Or do you think that there's some kind of like Masonic or some Satan god that they like worship that's got it's like a ritual that they have to do.
Well, yes.
Or you think both?
Well, both, both. So Satan definitely controls them, and in the in their Kool-Aid, which is the Kabbalah, and there's one other book I can't remember, but those people from that country from 1948, in their Bible,
Hmm.
essentially, it says um, they are allowed to lie and deceive if it serves Satan.
Oh my gosh.
So they are alleviated from guilt from lying and deceiving us. But Aleister Crowley had this notion that he put forth that you like you said, they have to tell you what's happening to you so that when you go and volunteer for it, they haven't um, tricked you into it.
Hmm.
Because if you're ignorant of what's happening, I don't think there's the same power. They need to have you understand that they rule over you.
E-
Maybe that's what it is.
yeah, even though most people are too ignorant to like recognize what they're seeing is what the plan is, they still feel like since they showed us that and we just let it happen that they've done their part.
They've done their
They're
part.
they're released of guilt now
I
because
think the same thing with Hollywood. Like you go, well,
yeah.
why does Hollywood have to tell the truth in certain movies? Like remember we watched that I watched it, that movie Safe House with Denzel and
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
We need to watch that. I don't know if I've seen that.
It was not a bad movie, but like in that movie, the CIA agents are after the rogue CIA agent who has all the dirt on them, and they start killing each other.
Mm.
That was revealing the method.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about Elon earlier, and he's throwing jabs at Trump.
Right.
When you join the culture club, you get betrayed by other culture club members,
Yeah.
and I think they reveal that
Mm-hmm.
to you. And
Interesting.
and controlled opposition, we've talked about how controlled opposition works by truth, 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 lies.
Right.
So they do have to tell some truth. Now, what I think is when you see Ezra Levant running up to these people on the street, so he did it to,
He makes it look like he's like this guerrilla journalist out there, just
yeah,
like, hardcore going up to
yeah,
all these scary people.
he's doing intrepid work.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Intrepid journalism. So basically, that's all staged.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, Larry Fink and Peter Thiel, and all the people that he goes up and approaches, like Eric Schmidt, these guys, they're all happy to be the bad guy in the movie.
They're playing the villain.
They're playing the villain in the movie, and they're happy to do it because they sold their soul to have that part. And they get to have tons of money and power, but they're not actually making any decisions. They just go and play their part. I think all those people at Davos, they're all puppets being controlled by the puppet master.
Right.
Some people say, no, those are the puppet masters. No,
So who are the puppet masters?
I think it's Satan. And then remember how David Icke was talking about how there's like a web?
Yeah.
And at the very top of the web, there's these people that you don't really see in the media.
Yeah.
And these people are the shot callers that none of us would know their names.
It's like that. I saw this chart once where it said who you think is running the world, and it was like showed like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and this and that. But then there were these other names that we never hear about. I think it's the Medicis, like these people that, yeah, they own like the world basically.
Totally. And so I think those people are Satan's minions. And then everybody that is doing Satan's work is Satan's minions, but they have some who are frontmen. So I think
They're
that,
like the managers and the CEOs,
yeah,
but they're not the owners of the company,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. Like you're the figurehead, like some companies will have that. Like the owner of the company is some really old dude, but he'll have a kind of young, good-looking, dashing CEO who's like the face of the company.
Right.
That's who, I mean, he's not young and dashing, but Larry Fink
Yeah.
is that.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
the face.
he's probably a lot better looking than Satan.
Probably better.
Although
Well, Satan is like the
Satan,
picture of Dorian Gray. You ever heard that? You ever heard that story from Oscar Wilde? That's where the guy, he's the aristocrat in England, and he has a portrait painted of himself. And when this portrait gets painted of himself, um, he has um, powers where he never grows old, so he stays
Mm.
young for like decades and decades. He's just staying young and staying young, and he's watching all the people grow old around him. But then one guy who knew him way back when comes and sees him, and he's still young, and he's like, "What the hell?" And he somehow gets up into this bedroom, and he sees that the portrait that was painted of him has turned ugly, while he stayed good looking and young,
Oh,
but the portrait showed who he is on the inside, and
wow.
it became ugly and gross.
What is that movie called?
The Portrait of Dorian Gray.
Sounds good.
It's so good.
That's interesting because actually, I could see that maybe like Satan, like if there's actually like some human that represents that, um, may actually be very good looking because
Totally,
he would be good looking to lure people in.
totally.
You know what I mean?
Satan can definitely take the form of a good-looking person, or he can have someone like Jared Kushner, who's young, to be his minion
Mm-hmm.
and go out and be his. So I think these people are figureheads,
Mm-hmm.
but none of the people at Davos are calling the shots. They're all playing a role. They're probably a lot of what's going on there is marching orders,
Oh yeah, totally.
but
Putting things into
part of it is publicity.
place. Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, you would think that they would want the whole thing to be secret, but they let out little tidbits.
They want the peasants to know what they're doing
Why?
to a certain extent.
Why do you think that is? Why don't they just keep everything behind closed doors? I think it's they have to reveal the method. Satan tells them, well, you're gonna have to go and say, like, remember Brad Pitt? He had to come out and say, well, once I sold my soul, my career really took off.
I think there might be another aspect to it too. I think that by them showing us that this is where all these elites go and meet and everything, it's showing us that they are like at some upper level of, like being elite in these fancy places where they meet and plan out our destinies. And all of us are just little peasants that have no control over our future.
It's
They,
their ego gets off on that.
yeah,
So I'm starting to think that Ezra Levant, obviously, he's from that country from 1948. The Blaze had been Shapiro. So it's evil.
mhm,
So what they do is they go up and they play these little, it's like theater. He runs up and acts like he's guerrilla journalist, you know, going up with a microphone to a guy out of the blue.
mhm,
But that's all been, it's all fake.
mhm.
And anything that person says is what they want to divulge. And most of the time they don't divulge anything. But what he'll do is he'll go up to him and they won't say anything, but then he'll come back and he'll go on Alex Jones and he'll go, "Did you see how he avoided the question? He avoided the question. Here's what I asked him," and then he'll talk about what that person did in the past, and that gives them power too.
See, I don't even think that, like, if this was like some, super ultra secret meeting with all these top secret, like, high officials, I don't think that people like that would even be able to get near the area. Like,
No.
you're not going to get like a press pass and be able to just like go up to these
These are
people.
where all the
Yeah.
figureheads just go make a big show, and it's kind of done for publicity and press.
Yeah.
But the real decisions are being made by those people that you never see in the news.
They're probably sitting around some big table in Satan's headquarters making all the real decisions.
Come to Jehovah, I need you to come here. Because Satan does rule them, and they do what he says. And so this is kind of the structure of how I see it with the elites. Satan is their boss. They take their roles from Satan. The people in very small inner circle at the top, we don't know who they are,
Right.
but those are the puppet masters. Then where the scene becomes, there's like David Icke talks about this spot where now the people are seen. So the
Mm,
hidden becomes the seen at this one ape at this one like juncture. And at that juncture where the seen becomes seen, that's where you have Bill Gates. That's where you have Klaus Schwab. That's where you have Peter Thiel. These people are where the hidden meets the visible. That's what I think it is.
I think that sounds right.
So then when you're seeing the visible, Davos is the visible, but they're carrying out the agenda of the unseen. And the unseen have given them their marching orders, and they are definitely talking about that, and nobody releases any of that information.
No. And probably when we're seeing the what is the scene, which is like these people at Davos and they're like letting out little tidbits of video for us to see, there's probably a whole other like group of the puppet masters meeting in some ultra top secret place, not even like near those people, and they're actually making like the next step plans.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
next step plans are going to be gnarlier and gnarlier. So what came out of this one was Eric Schmidt didn't even make a comment, I don't think, but he was talking about how back in 2010 he wanted to do autocorrect so that if you say something politically incorrect, it just autocorrects. Anything digital will just autocorrect that.
Just correct your thoughts.
Yeah.
Ah,
So once you make it digital, you get autocorrected. So that's one of the things that came out of this. And then Jared Kushner's speech. Why would they release that?
right.
You know? He's making an appeal to the Gazans or whatever. So that's
And I don't think the Gazans are going to be like, oh, okay,
so comforted.
Jared Kushner said we should just get over it and like
Let's just
welcome
move
this
on.
resort. Okay,
Kumbaya.
that sounds like a plan.
Thank you for killing like several members of my family and burning my house down and destroying the hospitals and the schools. Thank you. And now we
We
get to
can go
have.
to the resort.
And you know what? I've seen how those resorts work out. Have you ever been to Atlantic City?
Um, yeah, I've been through there.
It's not much.
No.
Atlantic City is real weird feeling. There's like these casinos on the shore, but they're all old school. Their heyday was 50, 60
Yeah.
years ago.
It's all like it's kind of like yesterday's news. It's like
Kind of feels like Vegas.
it's old school. Vegas, but like passe.
But Vegas has kind of like changed with the
Kept
times
up.
and kept up.
Yeah.
Atlantic City is just kind of still the same crusty old boardwalk and casinos. That's how Gaza's going to be.
Yeah.
There'll be a bunch of hype around it for a little while, but then it'll fade because nobody wants to go there. You could give
Yeah,
them,
who's go to God? Like, can you imagine somebody being like, "Oh, let's take a vacation and go to Gaza"?
I mean, I can
I don't
probably see
know.
some people doing it, like especially, who will probably do that is like, uh, what's the name of that Bible? Schofield Bible Republicans.
Oh,
The ones that think that we have to support Israel no matter
right,
what,
right.
they probably will.
Hmm.
They probably will go and go, oh, good, because they adore Trump. They
Yeah,
worship Trump.
right.
But anyways, I think that's the take on this one. This one is Davos is not the puppet masters. Davos is the puppets, and everything that is released from Davos is total show.
Hmm.
That's what they're releasing to us for a reason.
It's what they want us to see.
They want us to see that for one reason or another. So what's the white pill? White pill is don't get blue pilled by the controlled opposition like Ezra Levant and Alex Jones talking about how we got these guys' numbers.
Hmm.
That's all fake.
Hmm.
We don't have these guys' numbers.
No.
They are doing whatever they want at will without any opposition, except for us
Yeah,
making a recording from a car.
we're the opposite.
We are doing it though. We are. You have anything else on this one?
Um, no, I think, you know, you could listen to this and feel black pilled because I think a lot of people do see those videos that get leaked and they feel like, then all the influencers put them out and start commenting on them, for weeks.
Mhm.
And I think people feel like they've gotten some insight. And in a way we do, it is important to see what they are putting out because they are putting out some of the truths and what you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
And they are revealing the method. So we do need to pay attention to it, but we need to realize that they're putting that out there because they want us to see it.
they want us to
So
see it.
so it's okay to see it and talk about it and figure out what we need to do about it because it probably some of that stuff is going to happen, but they want us to see that. And what is it that they are not putting out there for us to see? Like, is it possible that these things they put out are a lot of distraction for maybe something bigger and badder?
I think I just had an epiphany.
Oh my gosh. What?
Well, like it'd be like if someone came and brought you some, like let's say we were gonna split some red velvet cake at a diner.
Hmm.
Yum, right?
Yeah.
So the waitress brings us red velvet cake and she sets it down and it looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a big glass of milk and a fork and I go dig in, but the red velvet cake is a hologram.
Not really.
That's kind of, I think, an analogy for how you have to look at the news. You have to look at the news as like it's kind of a hologram.
Yeah.
It looks like red velvet cake, but when you go try to take a bite of it, you don't get a bite.
No.
So what you do is you finally are able to tell the difference between real red velvet cake and the hologram.
Right.
That's important
It is.
because if you don't know the difference between the hologram, you're gonna keep you're like, this fork doesn't work.
That was a really good epiphany
You
for
like that?
yeah, that was profound. So there may be real red velvet cake in some of this stuff that they're revealing, but some of it is a hologram.
Yeah. And you go try to take a bite and you go, what's going on?
Mhm.
So you have to understand that some of it's hologram. If you don't, you're gonna get sucked into the blue pill.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that maybe there is some information in there
I
that
think so.
that they're trying to reveal to us to
I've been thinking that
release their guilt.
because I started thinking, dude, just don't listen to the news. But I don't think that's the way to go because then you become totally shut off and you don't know what the hell's going on.
You don't know what they're talking about.
You don't know what they're talking about. You got to listen to the news, but you have to be able to listen to it with a discerning eye. That's the white pill.
That's the white pill, and that's tricky. That's a hard
Yeah.
thing to do because they put so many truth, lies, truth,
Yeah.
lies. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
Well, look at how deceptive they are. Like, if we're right, and Ezra Levant is running up to Larry Fink, and that's all just a big charade and a show that
Mm-hmm.
they do on purpose,
Yeah,
that's shrewd. And yeah, it would be easy for someone to get fooled by that because we're not sitting here thinking that these people are going to be that lame.
right. And most people are not that evil, so it's hard to kind of wrap your head around the idea that like these people are so evil that they're just literally planning like to destroy the world and everything else,
They want to exterminate everybody.
Yeah.
That's what the plan is. And they want to do it by collapsing civilization, corralling people into their ghettos, and then exterminating them. And that's what the real conversations behind closed doors are about.
Mhm.
And if we were to hear that, that would be revealing because then we would probably see some tidbits into operations that are taking place right now.
Yeah.
All we ever get told on Alex Jones is like evil plans that might be in the works
Yeah.
and all of this abstract stuff. And that's where they kind of want you because where the controlled opposition wants you is on your heels and just, you know what, we're all over it. We know who these people are. And they want us believing that these people are on the run and we've got them where we want them. And their little Davos thing is all a big charade, which it is. But what they don't understand is, yes, it's a charade that they put on themselves. And they're
Mhm.
allowing that charade. And they have puppet masters that we aren't even touching yet. And I think the only way the puppet masters, my last point, the only way the puppet masters have power is through acquiescence.
Exactly.
That's the only way they have
We have
power.
to give it to them.
You have to give it to them. and we have the power.
And that's part of their whole MO too, in revealing the method, so that if we don't fight it, then we're
We have
allowing it.
yes.
And yeah, so the key to all of this is for us not to, yes, that's such a perfect word.
That's it. Anything else on this one?
I think that's good.
Okay. All right, good. Well, we'll talk more because there'll be more coming out of Davos,
Oh
and we'll
yeah.
decide whether it's red velvet cake or hologram cake.
Okay, I'll talk
Okay.
to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.